Revelations and miracles, unusual spiritual journeys. The extraordinary experiences of human beings who communicated with angels. The number of those who communicate with angels, or those who are inspired by Jesus, the Virgin Mary, or even by God the Father, is very large. Padre Pio, Anna Katerina Emmerich, Emanuel Swedenborg, Gemma Galgani, Abbot Edouard Lamy, Saint Bernard, Jacob Lorber are people who, through the purity of their souls and their special faith in heavenly powers, made it possible to approach the world of angels. Padre Pio de Pietrelcina, who lived between 1887 to 1968, had a very special, delicate, and respectful devotion to the guardian angel. His little childhood companion, the good angel, was always helpful. He was an obedient, prompt, punctual friend who, like a great master of holiness, exerted on him a continuous impulse to progress in the practice of all the virtues. His assiduous and discreet action was his guide, advice, and help. When he received a letter written in French, it was the guardian angel who served as his interpreter. If the mission of our guardian angel is great, that of my angel is certainly greater, as he needs to be the translator of other languages. The guardian angel was his intimate friend who, after waking him up in the morning, praised the Lord with him. Even at night, when I close my eyes, I see how the veil is lifted and paradise opens before me. Rocked by this vision, I fall asleep with a smile of sweet bliss upon my lips, and with open brow and perfect stillness, waiting for my little childhood companion to come and wake me, and so we would sing the morning praises together, to the delight of our hearts. In the infernal attacks, the guardian angel, the invisible friend, was the one who eased his pains. My friend from childhood seeks to soothe the pains that those unclean apostates cause me, rocking my spirit on the waves of hope. When the angel did not intervene with sufficient solicitude, Padre Pio, confidentially, knew how to move him even with a fraternal scolding. I will not tell you how those bastards hit me. Sometimes I feel like I'm ready to die. On Saturday it even seemed to me that they wanted to finish me off and I didn't know which saints to call for help. I turned to my angel. After waiting a little, here he is finally flying around me and with his angelic voice singing hymns to the Divine Majesty. I harshly shouted at him for allowing himself to wait so long, while I did not stop calling him to my aid. To punish him, I didn't want to look at him anymore. I wanted to get away from him, to run away from him, but the poor man reached me almost crying until, looking up, I looked into his eyes and saw that he had looked very bad. "I am always by your side," he said to me. "I will always act around you. My affection for you will not die even with my life." Anna Katerina Emmerich, born in Flansk in 1774, in a peasant family, she entered the Augustinian monastery in 1802, and then, after the monastery was abolished by Napoleon, she lived in the house of a widow. Right from the beginning she was guided by her guardian angel, being fully aware of his continuous presence. He gave him daily instructions necessary for his life. Anna Katerina said, "The angel calls me and leads me to different places. I often travel with him. He once led me to the Queen of France, Marie Antoinette, in prison. When I pray for others and he is not with me, I call him to go to their angel. Often, when he is near me, I ask him to go to a certain place and I see him go. The angel urges me to pray for the souls of those who are suffering and I often send it to the guardian angel of these people. The angel prepares me through certain symbolic visions for near or distant sufferings in order to have time to pray for their relief. I get precise advice on how I need to behave with the people I come into contact with. That way I know if I need to talk to them or stay away. If the circumstances demand it, the angel even suggests to me the words with which it is good to express myself. My guardian angel always walks by my side, and even if the forces of evil sometimes besiege me and attack me in my room, they could not seriously injure me because I always received help." Gemma Galgani, she was born in 1878, near Lucca. The presence of angels in her life was almost continuous, surrounding her with attention, sometimes manifesting visibly. Here are some of the entries she made in her spiritual journal. "My guardian angel never leaves me. If I need to talk, pray, do something, he shows me. The guardian angel has not left me for a second, and yet, how many shortcomings I have, how many defects, even in his presence. The guardian angel does not stop protecting me, teaching me and giving me wise advice. Several times a day he shows himself to me and talks to me. My guardian angel does not abandon me. He gives me strength, and I tell you that on Sunday I was not hungry, but he forced me to eat, and he did the same this morning. Every evening he does not forget to bless me, but also to punish me and shout at me. The angel gave me to drink a few drops of a white liquid from a golden cup, telling me that it was a medicine with which the doctor of paradise heals the sick. The guardian angel began to be my teacher and guide. He scolds me whenever I do something wrong, teaches me to speak a little and only when I am asked. Once, when the people of the house were talking about a person and not very well, I wanted to intervene, but the strong and beautiful angel reprimanded me. Other times he told me, "If you are not good, I will not appear to you again." He taught me several times how it is good to behave in the presence of God, to worship Him in His infinite goodness, in His infinite greatness, in His mercy, and in all His attributes. Gemma sensitively saw the forms, gestures, and expressions that characterized the angel's presence. Mother Agnesa remembers, one day she came to the monastery alone. I received her, and she told me that she was not alone, but with the guardian angel. "Where did you leave it?" I asked her. And he answered me, "At the door." And me, "Why don't you call him?" Gemma opened the door and, with a wave of her hand, invited him in, then pointed at him, but I saw nothing. Then I asked her how the angel appeared to her. He answered me, above the head, with outstretched wings. Abbot Edouard Lamy was born in 1853 in the Langres region and died in 1931. He had many visions of the Virgin Mary and special protection from angels. The most remarkable aspect of Father Lamy was his intimacy with the angels and the familiarity with which he lived with them. Those close to him saw him talking to invisible beings and sometimes even heard the voices that answered him. Count Biver, Doctor of Letters and Sciences, a very objective person, relates the following event that happened on November 19, 1924. That evening the Count and Father Lamy, his host, had just retired to their rooms to go to bed. The Count tells, "At 10 p.m. I was in bed and I turned off the light. After a few minutes, through the two doors I heard an animated conversation in the old priest's room. In the absolute silence of the night, three men's voices could be clearly distinguished. Although it was cold, I sat on the bed to hear better. And yet, when I parted from him at the threshold of his room, it was completely empty. I could hear certain syllables, but could not understand a word of what the two strangers were saying, while my host was speaking aloud. They all spoke in French. In the morning, around 5, while he was leaving for church, I asked Father Lamy, "Father, last night, after you said good night, I heard you speak. I also heard other voices. They were the guardian angels." He smiled and told me, "It is possible. It's the evening consolations." During the day, when I asked her questions again, my host told me that I had heard the voices of the Holy Archangel Gabriel and his guardian angel, but not to talk to anyone about them. Bernard of Clairvaux, also known as Saint Bernard, lived between 1090 to 1153 and was first Count of Chatillon and then a monk. On May 18, 1113, Bernard entered the Cistercian order. If at the time of his entry into the monastic life, the order had not surpassed the stage of anonymity, in the following decades the Cistercians would become, thanks to the personality of this young Burgundian noble, for several centuries, the most important and influential Catholic monastic order. Let us love the angels, who are our guides and guardians, constituted and given to us by the Father. Now we are truly sons of God. This is who we are, even if we don't understand it too clearly, because we are still like children. But even if we are still children and we have such a long and dangerous way to go, why should we be afraid of such great protectors? They can neither be defeated nor deceived and guard us in all our ways. They are faithful, they are prudent, they are strong. Why should we worry? It is only necessary to follow them, to be with them, and thus we will remain under God's protection. Emanuel Swedenborg, January 29, 1688 to March 29, 1772, Swedish scientist and an authority on metallurgy, excelling as a mining engineer, military officer, astronomer, physician, zoologist, anatomist, economist, and deputy, was a true encyclopedia. He also studied theology and was predicted a brilliant career. He was the son of a Protestant bishop, and from childhood he had a spontaneous inclination towards introspection and religious experience. A doctor of philosophy at the age of 21, Swedenborg traveled throughout Europe to meet the scientific leaders of his time. When he returned to Sweden in 1714, his universal knowledge and his daring scientific theories, which make him appear even today as a forerunner of genius, brought him fame and honors. In 1743, he wrote, "The Lord appeared to me and gave me the power to communicate with spirits and angels." From that moment, Swedenborg gave up the sciences and devoted himself to the description of the spiritual world, which was progressively revealed to him. He did this with great precision, thanks to his scientific education. Jacob Lorber, he was born on July 22, 1800, as the son of a peasant family in Kniskajaring near Marburg, South Styria. He studied at the school in Marburg and, from the time of his studies, he proved to be a talented organist in the Catholic Church. He continued his studies to become a teacher in Graz, the capital of Styria, but later decided to devote himself entirely to music. Lorber became a music teacher and, through concerts, created his reputation as an exceptional violinist in Graz. At the age of 40, he was offered the position of Kapellmeister in Trieste, but his life would take a completely different course. On March 15, 1840, after saying his morning prayer, he felt in his chest, from his heart, a voice that told him clearly, "Take your pen and write." Lorber listened to this mysterious call, put his hand on the quill, and began to write word by word what was dictated to him from within. It was the introduction of the work Casa Domnului, Ancient History of Mankind. The first sentences were, "This is how the Lord God speaks now for everyone, and this is perfectly true, exact, and clear. Whoever ardently wants to talk to me, let him come to me, and I will plant my answer in his heart. But only the pure and humble in heart will hear my voice." In 1858, Lorber wrote to a friend, "Regarding the inner voice and the way in which I perceive it, I cannot say more than that I thus receive internally the holy word of the Lord, which I perceive permanently in the area of the heart as an extremely clear, bright, and pure thought, which is expressed in words. None of those who are next to me at that moment can hear any voice. But know that to me this blessed voice sounds brighter and clearer than any other material sound.